Hi, I'm Hub Arkus for Pro Football Weekly, and it's time to preview our NFL Game of the Week for Week 14 of the 2012 NFL season. The suddenly struggling Baltimore Ravens will visit the suddenly red-hot Washington Redskins. Senior editor Eric Edholm covers the Redskins for us, and senior editor Mike Wilkening covers the Baltimore Ravens. And, you know, Mike, maybe I shouldn't even say suddenly struggling. There's been a rash of injuries that have hit the Ravens over the last 5-6 weeks. It didn't show up in the loss column until last week against the Steelers. But this is a team that seems to be not quite in sync either on offense or defense right now.
They seem like they have sort of maxed out to get to 9-3. Terrell Suggs hurt again, a biceps injury here. Ray Lewis on the mend, won't be back for this one, it appears. This has just been a team, guys, that when you look at it, even at their best, they have not given the impression of really ever hitting top gear.
Eric, there's no arguing with the Redskins' 3-game win streak. I don't think there's any arguing that RG3, Robert Griffin III, and Alfred Morris look to be the real deal. But at 6-6, there's still things about this team that I find hard to buy.
Yeah, and then Griffin can cover up a lot of their mistakes and a lot of their shortcomings. I mean, one of them is definitely in the secondary. You look at what they're facing with now. Cedric Griffin, no relation. He's going to be out the final 4 games of the season. That's a nickelback right there. D'Angelo Hall, one of their big playmakers, he's out. You know, Griffin makes so many big plays. He can cover up the other team's big plays, but how much more can you ask a first-year quarterback to keep doing that?
Mike, huge headlines last Sunday over the torn biceps to Terrell Suggs. Now, the fact is some players are able to play through it. Suggs apparently seeking a second opinion to get a doctor to allow him to try and play through it. He won't be 100%. I'm not sure he was 100% off the Achilles before the biceps. Talk about Ray Lewis coming back. He wasn't Ray Lewis before the injury either. This is a team that is showing some age on defense and seems to be starting to pay for it.
Yeah, they haven't been the same defense this year, though I will say this. They were showing some signs of progress before the loss to Pittsburgh last week. They were starting to get better, and some of the guys that were complementary pieces in the defense were starting to step up. At the end of the day, you probably need your blue chip players to step up and be at full strength, and they're not sort of in that sort of place right now. So it's going to be on the complementary guys to sort of carry the day, along with a Haloti Ngata, along with an Ed Reed, some of the standard bearers that we've seen over the years. But you're right, just nothing has come easy for this defense this year.
Eric, a lot of people struggling to figure out how much of the Redskins' newfound success is their talent and how much of it is this hybrid West Coast offense, Baylor pistol that Mike Shanahan has put together and that Robert Griffin III runs so effectively. Now, Ravens normally would say, we don't want to run on that team. This year, you do want to run on that team.
Yeah, I think you do, especially with a quarterback who can wreak havoc and move the safeties around, get those linebackers flowing one way, cut back the other. It's probably about 70% of that offense that they ran in Denver, and it's about 30% of what Griffin ran in Waco. And it's amazing how they've melded the two together. Now, there have been bumps along the road. You mentioned the 3-6 record. That wasn't that long ago, but they fixed some stuff during the bye. The run game is back. The offensive line, to me, has been the most impressive part. Getting that unit together, I didn't think too highly of it at the beginning of the season. They've really come together as a group.
Mike, the Ravens are going to have to throw the ball on the road, which Joe Flacco doesn't do as well as he does at home in order to win this game. Anquan Bolden, I think, clearly has lost at least a quarter of a step. Torrey Smith shows flashes of being the next big thing, and then he doesn't get it done. What's wrong there?
I think their offense, with the exception of Ray Rice, is sort of filled with players that are up and down. That said, this is a very good matchup for them, and you would expect the Ravens to be able to do some things in the passing game. But I think the most interesting thing that everybody will keep an eye on is, look, there's no doubt that Cam Cameron falls in love with the pass at times, and Joe Flacco's going to get plenty of opportunities to do that on Sunday. But you also have to use Ray Rice in the context of this offense, and you have to get him more involved than you did last week, when really he's a guy that didn't get a touch in the fourth quarter, only 12 or 13 for the game. He's a guy, guys, it's plainly obvious. He needs at least 20 touches a game.
I would say 25 if you're going to win a football game. It's prediction time, guys. Mike, we'll start with you first. What happens to the Ravens as they travel up the Beltway?
The Ravens are hurting. They're not, in their greatest form. I still think they're the pick in this game, though, because I believe they're going to be able to move the ball and bounce back offensively, and I think they're going to be able to get just enough stops. I tend to think they're going to be a bend, don't break attack versus Washington, force enough field goals here. I think it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game, and I think Baltimore ends up on top.
Eric, what do you think?
I like the Redskins. I think at home, just feeding off that crowd energy. They know they need every game. Probably have to go 4-0 to win that division. Wild card looks a little bit on the outs right now, and they figured something out in the second half against the Giants. They've got a pressure to get any kind of effectiveness in the passing game. I think they get after Joe Flacco, make a few plays in the backfield, and that's their path to victory. A narrow one, but they get it done.
All right, guys. I'm not sure that these aren't two teams passing in the night or late afternoon, as the case may be. I don't think the Redskins are a playoff team. I don't think they're a winning team. I'm not sure they're a 500 team. I think they may be the better team this Sunday. I don't like where the Ravens are at, so I'm with Eric. I like the Redskins in this one. That'll do it for our preview of the game of the week for Week 14 of the 2012 season. For all the best in preview, review, analysis, news, notes, make sure you stay at ProFootballWeekly.com 100% of the time.